Jeremiah chapter 33. Then the word of Adonai came to Jeremiah a second time, while he was still confined in the guard's courtyard, saying, Thus says Adonai the Maker, Adonai who formed it to make it firm. Adonai is his name. Call to me, and I will answer you. I will tell you great and hidden things which you do not know. For thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of the city and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are torn down against the siege rams and against the sword. They are coming to fight with the Chaldeans, but they are about to fill them with the dead bodies of the people whom I slay in my anger and in my fury. I have hidden my face from this city because of all their wickedness. Indeed, I will bring it health and healing, and I will surely heal them. I will reveal to them an abundance of shalom and truth. I will restore Judah from exile and Israel from exile, and will rebuild them as in former times. I will also cleanse them from all their iniquity in which they have sinned against me, and I will pardon all their wrongs in which they have sinned against me, and in which they have rebelled against me. Then this city will be to me for a name of joy, praise, and glory before all the nations of the earth, which will hear all the good that I do for them. So they will fear and tremble because of all the good and for all the shalom that I do for it. Thus says Adonai, yet again in this place which you are saying is a waste without man or beast, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem the desolate, without man, without inhabitant, and without beast, there will be heard the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them who say, Give thanks to Adonai Tsabaoth, for Adonai is good, for his love endures forever. As they bring offerings of thanksgiving into the house of Adonai, for I will restore the land from the exiles that was at first, declares Adonai. Thus says Adonai Tsabaoth, yet again will there be in this place which is waste, without man or without beast, and in all its cities a pasture of shepherds, making their flocks lie down, in the towns of the hill country, in the towns of the foothills, in the towns of the south, in the land of Benjamin, in the places around Jerusalem, and in the towns of Judah, where the flocks again pass under the hands of one who counts them, declares Adonai. Behold, days are coming, it is a declaration of Adonai, when I will fulfill the good word I spoke concerning the house of Israel and concerning the house of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a branch of righteousness to spring up for David, and he will execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days will Judah be saved, and Jerusalem will dwell safely. And this is the name by which he will be called, Adonai our righteous. For thus says Adonai, for Adonai there will not be cut off a man sitting on the throne of the house of Israel, nor will the Levitical Kohanim ever lack a man before me to offer burnt offerings, to burn grain offerings, and to make sacrifices continually. And the word of Adonai came to Jeremiah, saying, Thus says Adonai, if you break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that day and night would not be yet in their appointed time, only then may my covenant be broken with my servant David, that he would not have a son to reign on his throne, and the Levitical Kohanim would not be my ministers, as the host of heaven cannot be numbered, nor the sand of the sea measured. So I will multiply the offspring of David my servant, and the Levites who minister to me. The word of Adonai came to Jeremiah, saying, Have you not noticed what this people has spoken, saying, The two families which Adonai did choose, he has rejected them? Thus they despise my people, no longer a nation before them. Thus says Adonai, if I have not made my covenant of day and night firm, and the fixed pattern ordering the heavens and the earth, only then would I reject the offspring of Jacob and of my servant David, so that I would not take from his offspring rulers over the offspring of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will restore them from their exile and have compassion on them. Chapter 34. The word which came to Jeremiah from Adonai when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon and all his army and all the kingdoms of the earth of his dominion and all the peoples were warring against Jerusalem and its towns, saying, Thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, Go, speak to King Zedekiah of Judah, and tell him, Thus says Adonai, I am about to give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will burn it with fire, and you will not escape out of his hand, but it will surely be captured and given into his hand. Your eyes will behold the eyes of the king of Babylon, and he will speak with you mouth to mouth, and you will go to Babylon. Yet hear the word of Adonai, O Zedekiah, king of Judah. Thus says Adonai concerning you, You will not die by the sword, you will die in peace. As there were burning ceremonies for your fathers, the former kings who were before you, so they will burn spices for you, and they will lament for you. O Lord, for it is a word I have spoken, declares Adonai. Then the prophet Jeremiah spoke all of these words to King Zedekiah of Judah and Jerusalem, when the army of the king of Babylon was warring against Jerusalem, against all the cities of Judah that were left, against Lachish, and against Azekah. For these alone remained of the cities of Judah as fortified cities. The word that came to Jeremiah from Adonai, from after King Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people that were at Jerusalem to proclaim liberty to them, so that everyone should let his maidservant and his manservants and his maidservants, Hebrew and man or Hebrew woman, go free, so that no one should make a slave of a Jew, his brother. So all the princes and all the people obeyed, who had entered into the covenant, that everyone would free his manservants and his maidservants, and not make them slaves any more. They obeyed and freed them, but afterward they returned around and made the servants of the handmaids whom they had let go free return, and brought them back into the subjection as servants and as their handmaids. So the word of Adonai came to Jeremiah from Adonai, saying, Thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, saying, At the end of 7 years you are to set free every man his brother, that is a Hebrew who has been sold to you and has served you 6 years. You are to let him go free from you. But your fathers did not obey me, not inclining their ear. Now you have repented and had done which is right in my eyes by proclaiming liberty everyone to his neighbor. You even had made a covenant before me in the house where my name is called. But you turned around and profaned my name, and made everyone his servants and his handmaid, whom you had let go free at their will, return, and you brought them back into subjection to be your servants' handmaids. Therefore, thus says Adonai, you have not obeyed me to proclaim liberty, everyone to his brother and everyone to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim for you a liberty, declares Adonai, to the sword, to plague, and to famine. So I will make you a horror to all the kingdoms of the earth. I will give the men who have transgressed my covenant, who have not performed the words of the covenant which they made before me. When they cut the calf in two and passed between its parts, the princes of Judah and the princes of Jerusalem, the officers, the Kohanim, and all the people of the land who passed between the parts of the calf, I will even give them into the hand of their enemies and into the hand of them who seek their life, and their dead bodies will be for food to the birds of the sky and to the beasts of the earth. King Zedekiah of Judah and his princes I will give into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of them who seek their life, and into the hand of the king of Babylon's army, who were withdrawing from you. Indeed, I will command, declares Adonai, and cause them to return to this city. They will fight against it, capture it, burn it down with fire, and I will make the cities of Judah as a wasteland, with no one living. Chapter 35. The word that came to Jeremiah from Adonai in the days of Joachim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, Go to the house of them Rehabites, speak to them, and bring them into one of the chambers of the house of Adonai, and give them wine to drink. So I took Jazaniah, son of Jeremiah, son of Habasiniah, his brothers and all his sons, and the whole house of the Rehabites. And I brought them into the house of Adonai, to the chamber of the sons of Hanan, son of Igdaliah, the man of God, which was by the chamber of the princess, which was above the chambers of Maaseiah, son of Shallum, the doorkeeper. I set jars of full of wine and cups before the sons of the house of the Rechabites, and said to them, Drink wine. But they said, We drink no wine, for Jonadab, son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, You will drink no wine, not you nor your sons forever. Also you are not to build a house, or sow seed, or plant a vineyard, or own one. Instead, all your days you are to dwell in tents, so that you may live many days in the land where you sojourn. So we obeyed the voice of Jonadab, son of Rechab, our father, in all that he charged us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, our sons, nor our daughters, nor to build houses for us to dwell in, nor to own a vineyard, field, or seed. And we have dwelt in tents, and have obeyed and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. But when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came up against the land, we said, Come, let us go to Jerusalem, for fear of the army of the Chaldeans, and for fear of the army of the Armenians. So we are dwelling in Jerusalem. Then came to the word of Adonai to Jeremiah, saying, Thus says Adonai Tzavaot, the God of Israel, Go say to the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Will you not receive instruction by listening to my words, says Adonai, the words of Jonadab, son of Rechab, that he commanded his sons not to drink wine, are observed, and to this day they drink none, for they listened to their father's commandment. Yet I have spoken to you early and often, and you have not obeyed me. I have sent also to you all your servants, the prophets, sending them early and often, saying, Return you now, every man from his evil way, and amend your doings, and go not after other gods to serve them, and you will dwell in the land which I have given to you and to your fathers. But you have not inclined your ear nor listened to me, for the sons of Jonadab, son of Rechab, have kept the commandment of their father, which he commanded them, but this people have not obeyed me. Therefore thus says Adonai Elohei Tzavaot, the God of Israel, I am about to bring on Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil that I have pronounced against them, because I spoke to them, but they have not heard, and I have called to them, but they have not answered. Now Jeremiah said to the house of the Rehabites, Thus says Adonai Tzavaot, the God of Israel, because you have obeyed the commandment of Jonadab your father, and kept all his precepts, and done according to all that he commanded you. Therefore thus says Adonai, the God of Israel, there will never be cut off for Jonadab son of Rechab a man to stand before me forever. Chapter 36. Now it happened in the 4th year of the Jehoiakim of King Josiah of Judah, that this word came to Jeremiah from Adonai, saying, Take a Megillah scroll and write in it all the words that I have spoken to you about Israel, about Judah, and about all the nations from the day I spoke to you, from the days of Josiah until this day. Perhaps the house of Judah will hear all the calamity that I am planning to do them, in order that they may turn each one from his evil way. Then I would forgive their iniquity and their sin. So Jeremiah called Baruch, son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote from Jeremiah's mouth all the words that Adonai had spoken to him into a Megillah scroll. Then Jeremiah commanded Baruch, saying, I am detained, I cannot go into the house of Adonai. So you go and read in the Megillah, which you have written from my mouth, the words of Adonai, in the ears of the people in the house of Adonai on a fast day. You should also read them in the ears of all Judah coming from their towns. Perhaps they will present their supplications before Adonai, and each one will turn from his wicked way, for great is the anger and fury that Adonai has pronounced against his people. So Baruch son of Neriah did according to all that the prophet Jeremiah commanded him, reading from the book the words of Adonai in the house of Adonai. Now it came to pass in the 5th year of Jehoiakim, son of King Yoshia of Judah, in the 9th month, that they proclaimed a fast, and before Adonai all the people in Jerusalem and all the people that came from the cities of Judah to Jerusalem. Then Baruch read from the scroll the words of Jeremiah in the house of Adonai, in the chamber of Gemariah, son of the scribe Shaphan, in the upper court at the entry of the new gate of the house of Adonai, in the ears of all the people. Now when Micaiah, son of Gemariah, son of Shaphan, had heard from the scroll all the words of Adonai, he went down to the scribe's chamber of the king's palace. All the officials sat there, the scribe Elishama, Delaiah, son of Shemaiah, Elnathan, son of Akbor, Gemariah, son of Shaphan, Zedekiah, son of Hananiah, and all the officials. Then Micaiah reported to them all the words that he had heard Baruch reading out of the scroll in the ears of the people. All the officials sent Jehudi, son of Nethaniah, son of Shelemiah, son of Cushi, to Baruch, saying, Bring in your hand the Megillah, which you read in the ears of the people, and come. So Baruch, son of Neriah, brought the Megillah in his hand and went to them. Then they said to him, Sit down now and read it in our ears. So Baruch read it in their ears. After they had heard all the words, they turned to each other in fear, then said to Baruch, We will surely report all these words to the king. So they also asked Baruch, saying, Tell us now, how did you write all these words at his dictation? And then Baruch answered him, He pronounced all these words to me with his mouth, and I wrote them with ink and into the scroll. Then the official said to Baruch, Go, hide yourself, you and Jeremiah, and let no one know where you are. Then they went to the king into the courtyard after they had deposited the Megillah in the chambers of scribe Elishama. They reported all the words in the ears of the king. So the king sent Jehudi to fetch the Megillah, and he brought it out of the chamber of the scribe Elishama. Jehudi read it in the ears of the king and all the officials who were standing by the king. Since it was the 9th month, the king was residing in the winter house with a fireplace burning before him. Now, as soon as Jehudi had read 3 or 4 columns, he cut it with the scribe's knife and tossed it into the fire that was in the fireplace until the whole Megillah was consumed in the fireplace. Yet neither the king nor any of his servants who heard all these words were afraid, nor tore their clothes. Moreover, Elnathan, Delaiah, and Gemariah entreated the king not to burn the Megillah, but he would not listen to them. Then the king commanded Yerachmiel, the king's son, along with Sheraiah, son of Asriel, and Shelemiah, son of Abdil, to seize the scribe Baruch and the prophet Jeremiah, but Adonai hid them. Then the word of Adonai came to Jeremiah after the king had burned the Megillah with the words that Baruch had written at the months of Jeremiah, saying, Take yet another Megillah, and write in it all the original words that were in the first scroll, which Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, burned up. After King Joachim of Judah, you will say, Thus says Adonai, you have burned this Megillah, saying, Why have you written in it? Saying, The king of Babylon will surely come and destroy this land, and will bring an end to both man and beast from it. Therefore, thus says Adonai about King Joachim of Judah, he will have no one to sit on the throne of David. Moreover, his dead body will be tossed out to the heat of the day and the frost of the night. I will also punish him and his offspring and his servants for their iniquity, and I will bring on them and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the people of Judah all the calamity that I have pronounced against them. But they did not listen. Then Jeremiah took another Megillah and gave it to the scribe of Baruch, son of Neriah, who wrote in it from the mouth of Jeremiah all the words of the scroll which King Joachim of Judah had burned up in the fire, and added to them many similar words.